Breaking emotions at the airport. Jungkook collapses in tears and Taehyung's ARMS. But what did Taehyung say that shook him to the core? What happens when silence becomes louder than words? When a single whispered phrase from someone you trust shatters your composure in front of the entire world? That's exactly what fans are asking after an unexpected, emotionally charged moment unfolded at Incheon International Airport between two of BTS's most beloved members, Jungkook and Kim Taehyung. Caught on camera, raw and unfiltered, the scene has since gone viral, leaving armies and the world in a state of emotional paralysis. Why did Jungkook suddenly break down in Taehyung's arms? What kind of message was delivered that made the golden magne lose control so publicly? Was it a farewell? A confession? Or something darker? Something fans were never meant to witness? This is not just another airport sighting. This is not your typical celebrity photo op. This was a rupture. A flash of vulnerability in a place that is usually cloaked in rehearsed smiles and PR-polished waves. And when that rupture happens between Taehyung and Jungkook, two members who have been at the center of fan theories, whispered speculations, and lingering glances for years, it stops the world. The video was only 43 seconds long. But in those 43 seconds, the BTS fandom unraveled. And perhaps so did Jungkook. The footage shows Taehyung walking ahead with his security, expression unreadable, almost cold. Jungkook lags behind, eyes low, until he suddenly picks up pace and reaches Taehyung. He places a hand on Taehyung's shoulder. A brief whisper. No one could hear what was said. But whatever it was, it made Jungkook's expression crumble. His knees buckle. His eyes glisten. And then, he falls into Taehyung's arms. The world didn't just witness a breakdown. It witnessed a revelation. Was this the moment Jungkook received news he wasn't ready to accept? Was Taehyung breaking something off? Or admitting something too heavy to carry any longer? Or had Jungkook been waiting for that message his whole life? What makes this moment even more haunting is the timing. Just days earlier, Taehyung had returned from an unannounced trip to the United States. Alone. His itinerary was private. His public appearance was cold. And his eyes, according to fans, were red. Had he been crying even before meeting Jungkook at the airport? And if so, why? Why did no other member intervene when Jungkook collapsed? And more importantly, why has no one said a word since? Not a single official statement has been released from HYB. Not from Taehyung. Not from Jungkook. Not even from the usually vocal RM, who has often acted as the group's informal spokesperson. The silence has become deafening. Fans immediately jumped into investigative mode. Thousands of tweets flooded in within minutes. Zoomed-in photos. Lip-reading analyses. Emotional breakdown threads. From "Did you see how tightly Taehyung held him?" to "Why did Jungkook look like he was waiting for something before approaching him?" Some fans believe the entire moment was a farewell. Others think it was an apology. But a growing faction of armies think it was something even more personal, a secret message, exchanged between just the two of them. One that's been waiting to come to light for years. Could it be linked to the long-standing theory that Taehyung and Jungkook share a bond deeper than friendship? One too complex, too intense, and too dangerous to be acknowledged in the public eye. Because let's not forget, this is not the first time they've exchanged cryptic looks, secret words, and emotionally loaded silences. So why now? Why this moment? And what did Taehyung whisper that broke Jungkook? Was it about the group's future? Military service? A personal relationship coming to an end? Or perhaps a confession that changed everything they thought they knew about each other? And what if that moment wasn't meant to be seen? What if it was the one unscripted slip-up in a carefully constructed narrative that's been held together for years? What we saw at the airport might just be the tip of the emotional iceberg. Because the more fans dig, the more they find cryptic lyrics, deleted posts, glances captured at concerts, and interviews that suddenly take on a darker tone. Could this be the unraveling of something the world wasn't supposed to understand? And if it is, what happens next? Is this the beginning of the end or the beginning of the truth? As the footage made its rounds across social media, the world stopped to watch. Not just once, but again and again. Each replay unearthed something different. A twitch in Taehyung's jawline, a tremor in Jungkook's fingers, The way Taehyung instinctively pulled him closer instead of pushing him away. It was as if the entire emotional history of their relationship condensed into that single embrace, and still, no one knew what was said. That silence birthed chaos. Within hours, hashtags like hashtag Taehyung airport breakdown, hashtag Jungkook in tears, and hashtag what did Taehyung say were trending globally. Even non-fans began speculating. What would make the most composed member of BTS, Jungkook, the perfectionist, the performer, the resilient one, collapse in public with cameras flashing from every direction? And more curiously, why did he only crumble in Taehyung's arms? Not in a staff member's. Not even a manager's. But Taehyung, that detail was not missed by ARMY. Many have long theorized that Taehyung and Jungkook share a connection deeper than what's shown on camera. Their interactions have always been charged, sometimes playful, sometimes distant, sometimes painfully intense. The dynamic has shifted over the years. There were moments when they seemed inseparable. Then there were long silences, unexplained absences, coldness in group content. And now, this SO was this breakdown the climax of years of tension? Or the breaking point of a love that never had the space to breathe? Fans turned to old interviews. One from 2018 resurfaced immediately, a moment when Jungkook mentioned that Taehyung understands him in ways even the Hyungs don't. Another from 2020, where Taehyung whispered something in Jungkook's ear during a concert, causing him to choke up mid-song. At the time, fans had speculated it was about the pressure of fame. But now, in the context of the airport scene, it suddenly felt different. Was Taehyung the only person Jungkook could fall apart with? One fan thread that went viral compiled 10 instances where Jungkook physically leaned into Taehyung during emotionally difficult times. The pattern, they claimed, was undeniable. From the Run BTS, episodes where Jungkook would look to Taehyung during tense moments, to a Tokyo fan meeting where he seemed visibly shaken and Taehyung placed a hand over his heart. Was it comfort? Protection? Or something unspoken that has finally, at long last, begun to speak? The whisper, as seen in the viral footage, remains inaudible. But fan lip readers are doing their best. Some suggest Taehyung said, "I had to tell you now." Others argue it looked like this is the last time. The most heart-wrenching translation? I can't keep doing this to you. If any of these interpretations are true, the implications are explosive, because if this was a final conversation, a goodbye of sorts, why do it in public? Unless it wasn't meant to be. Unless emotions simply overran years of discipline and the moment burst into reality. Cameras be damned, let's not forget that Taehyung has always been one of the more unpredictable members of BTS. Known for his deep emotional core, his sensitivity, and his desire for truth over image, Taehyung has never been one to mask pain easily. And Jungkook? For all his stoicism, fans know he feels everything deeply, but hides it well. Until now, what happened between them in the days before this? And what triggered the moment so powerfully that Jungkook couldn't even wait to get home to fall apart? Another strange detail. The way staff and other BTS members responded, or didn't. Usually, BTS's security and management are quick to shield members from public emotional displays. But here, they stepped back, allowed it to happen, almost as if they knew this moment had to unfold.